Hey guys, and welcome to this week's live trading. Now, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning, my side, and for full disclosure, let me go ahead and bring the account up. So yesterday, I actually did, in fact, a recording. You guys can see um, that we are in two. So yesterday, I did do a recording because obviously it was, day trading Tuesdays. But the position that I've taken was actually on the euro dollar, and I was looking to short the euro dollar, and I actually took that position. I'll just take a screenshot so that I can show you guys. The trade is still running. It's kind of just hovering in the middle um, of between my entry and my target. So let me just take a quick screenshot so that I can show you guys. There you go. So you guys can see this trade was executed yesterday at around 3, and we running $53 at the moment. Now, that's all good and well, but I figured that it's going to be best if I just do a whole new recording because that was number one, it was a very lengthy recording. And number two, we didn't really get much happening with regards to dollar position. So I'm looking to actually go ahead and short the euro yen in today's live trading. So what I'm waiting for is to actually see the price actually run all the way up to this moving average over here. And that's going to be where I look to kind of short the position. So um, one of the things that I look to do with these particular setups is kind of just to wait for confluence. So as you guys can see, we got some good movement to the upside. And bear in mind this is on the 5 minute time frame. But if we scale over into daily time frame, I find that we have not only rejected the pivot several times, and we also in this kind of ascending channel that we see over here, the market in and of itself does have the capacity to drop. So this could be seen as a fairly good retracement, and so I'm just trying to catch that as it kind of develops. So essentially, I'm looking for price to at least drop towards my daily pivot over here, but that's obviously going to take some time, considering the fact that we're literally in between um, two moving averages. So there's a few things that I need to see happen before anything else. And as you guys can see, we are moving quite nicely towards our entry um, level over here. So I'll just wait and see how that develops. And if anything, if we get a nice shooting star, I may consider putting in a position. But for now, I'll just go ahead and press pause, and then just we'll wait to see how the market gets to this first level that we will enter on. So let me go ahead and press pause for now. Okay, guys. So as you guys can see, we had a very nice close, pushing us fairly closer to our uh, average of execute. So we're just gonna have to wait how this develops. I'm thinking actually, let me just go ahead and put in at least one position so that we know that we at least have that in the cards. So let me go ahead, going in with a half a lot, and we just short at this point over here. I'll take a screenshot of the positions now. We possibly looking to put our stops all the way up over here. So let me go ahead and get a screenshot so that I can show you the position. Get rid of this. So what we're looking at with regards to this particular trade that we've just taken is looking to kind of run it further down. So you guys can see we took the position um, half a lot, Euro USD. Sorry, I've been making this mistake. I've been making this mistake all week where I get into close that. I get into the wrong. I execute the position on the wrong pair. And I mean, it's just been such a, but it's also as a result of being, I have to obviously juggle quite a few things. And one of the things I've been doing as of late is just been taking positions on the wrong pair. It's been quite frustrating my side purely because of the fact that I really want to get this video out to you guys, but at the same time, I really want to make a quality video for you. So I do ask that you forgive me for that. But be that as it may, let's go ahead. I am on the right pair now. So you guys can see a euro yen. We moving fairly close to our entry. So in fact, it actually served quite well because we could potentially get a better price than we would essentially, sorry, initially from the time we pressed the sell. So let me go ahead and click sell. We're fairly close to where we need to be, and we going in with a half a lot. So let me just go ahead and take a screenshot of this. This is the trade that we just executed. There you guys can see that was the sell. That's the half lot trade that we've taken, and we're currently $9.30 down. So it's just going to be a case of waiting and seeing how does the market respond to this. I'm looking to put my stops above the pivot line as well as all of these averages. But also one of the things that one of the pairs I was actually looking at was in fact the euro, sorry, the dollar yen, and I actually found that I could even, if anything, if this particular trade doesn't work out, I could actually short the dollar yen as well. But the dollar yen is just on such a lot of support. And with that being said, I mean, it's been so choppy as well. So, I'm looking at it from both angles. In terms of a quick in and out type of trade, the dollar yen does offer a very nice opportunity with price rejecting the highs several times in the past, but now we have price kind of just sitting on the support level. So if price can kind of break beyond these, beyond these support levels over here as well as these, it does offer a potential good a good trade to the downside. But as it stands, guys, we're going to stick to the euro position. And it could be that we can get taken out of this trade quite fast. Now, like I said to you guys earlier, I actually looked to short this position purely because of the fact that we came to reach the pivot level as a resistance. We had multiple rejections of that level on the daily time frame with these shooting stars. And then also, if we go over into the 4 hourly time frame, we can see that price is very clear rising wedge pattern. And with price being in this rising wedge pattern, I basically anticipate that we could break to the downside, knowing full well that we are supported by these moving averages, and that price in and of itself, if it goes over to the hourly time frame, within its own right is in this descending or falling wedge pattern over here. So this could result in a little bit of a break to the upside as well, so I'm very mindful of that. But in the same breath, it's just we have to choose one side. We can't choose both sides. In other words, we can't be a buyer and a seller. We have to be one of one of the two. So I'm obviously opting to be a seller in today's market with regards to the euro yen. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. But for now, let me go ahead and press pause. Looks like we can get stopped out quite fast actually. Let me get that stops in, and I'll come back as soon as we get that done. So I'll just press pause for now. Okay, guys, just back, and we managed to get in stops and targets. So I'll just count over. Bear in mind, I'm going to be taking screenshots in this particular video because I'm already in that euro short and then I'm also in a euro pound position as well that I'm as a bit of a swing trade that I'm in. But let me just go ahead and get this particular trade drawn up for you guys, so you guys can see that that's the euro yen. We're looking to short. And we're in with a half a lot, and currently we're running $12 negative. Now with that being said, uh, one of the things that I'm looking for, oh yes, and then we also got our stops set in place. That's our entry price. Here's our stop, and there's our target. um, so one of the things that I'm kind of looking for with regards to this position is to see price kind of rally further, obviously to the downside towards our target level over here, which is going to be our pivot level. Now, bear in mind, this is about a 45 pip target and it's only a 15 pip stop. So we are being quite cheeky with the market here this morning. Now, I can go ahead and move that up to 20 pips, which will in fact make a lot more sense considering the fact that we'll have this moving average um, as a barrier to protect the account. But even with that being said, guys, one of the things I'll be looking for is that if price can, in fact, make its way further to the downside, then we will start to see this moving average kind of start coming into our stop loss, and um, and that will justify us being able to keep the the position as it is. But what I'm also mindful of is that the stop loss is just with these highs over here, so just above these highs over here. So it's very easy that the market could want to rally up, just nip it, and then kind of drag down again. But in all honesty, I mean, if the market is willing to come this far up, then I'm not necessarily that interested in the short anymore, because what that tells me is that we're definitely going to be using this moving average as a dynamic support, and price will then just bounce between these two averages. So what I'm looking for is I'm kind of just sticking to my guns here, and I'm just holding on to my bias, which is the downside, and just sticking to the plan. And one of the things that I learned yesterday, particularly, was on the euro position. So I don't know if I can perhaps bring it up, because I actually was about a pip or two away from being stopped out. Okay, so let me go ahead and just get this. So let's just sort it. There we go. So it was a 20 pip stop that I had yesterday. Okay. And what happened yesterday was I entered the position on this candle over here. And what happened was the market came down quite nicely. And in coming down, price then decided that it was actually going to move up, and it missed my stop by like, 1 or 2 pips. And then it kind of just came all the way back down to a point where I'm literally in the green at the moment. Thus me holding on to that position, because essentially that was yesterday's trade that was supposed to be recorded for yesterday's video. But in doing that recording, I was kind of just, by the time we were here, you can see that it's 8 o'clock here today. In fact, this is about this is an hour ahead. So it's about 7 o'clock, around 7 o'clock, almost 7:30 on my side. But be that as it may, here we have the market only entering into our green most recently, and yesterday at 10 o'clock we saw this spike to the downside. So by the time I would have ended the recording, it would have this that particular video would have been uploaded today anyway. And so I found it best, to just take a brand new trade and then just do a whole new recording on that basis. And obviously, the position that we found was the, yen. Now, bear in mind that we could have a lot more happening with this euro yen trade. We could see a lot more development. We could see the market easily just wanting to roll over. But it's just a case of kind of seeing what does the market want to do. And that is why I'm so adamant, with, sticking to the position, because yes, fair enough, the market can come up. Um, and stop us out. That's definitely on the cards. But at the same time, the market can come up, miss our stop by 2 3 pips, and then roll over, which is what happened to me yesterday. Just as much as the market could be 2 3 pips away from my target, and do a complete reversal. So that's definitely something that I'm also mindful of as well. So yes, guys. With all that being said, I just really hope that you're able to understand the dynamic and the approach I'm trying to you know the approach I'm trying to apply with regards to these positions that we're taking on a Tuesday, or in this case on a Wednesday, because I really want to show you guys what it means to actually stick to your plan, regardless if it's going to be a positive outcome or a negative outcome. Um, we don't take trades fearing losses, because losses are inevitable. We prepare for losses, and so we're mindful that every trade we take could end up and could result in being a loss. But obviously, we favor the the latter part of that, where we could take it out on our target. So if I was to be fully honest with you guys, I've been losing a lot more trades as of late, and last week and this week hasn't necessarily been particularly the best week, partially because of the fact that I'm trying to. There's a lot of things that I'm busy with in the background, with Gen series and getting that off the ground. But beyond that, it's also a case of I see a setup, I take the trade, and my setups might not always work. But one of the things I want you guys to understand is that um, your setup is not necessarily the problem. The market conditions might not be the problem. It just might be a case of your strategy at that particular time might not be susceptible to the current market condition. And eventually things will balance out. And so it's just a case of applying strict risk to reward management to ensure that when you take positions, you can afford to have these string of losses. And in having these string of losses, you're still within your risk parameters. Now, no, with that being said, it just takes me one or two big trades. Like, for example, if we were to hit target over here, then that will literally cover more than half of the losses that was potentially incurred. And so the idea behind this is to just take these positions as much as possible. Take every setup that you see regardless of the outcome, because eventually you're going to get to a point where that that losing streak or that drawdown um, can obviously be turned upside down, where one particular trade or two particular big trades can make back what you've lost plus more. And so it's just a case of enduring this time and kind of just sticking to your plan and taking every position, trusting in yourself as well as your ability to identify market opportunities and take the position, obviously with fixed risk management. So I know that was a mouthful. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I felt it's just so important, to share this with you guys. And so I'm gonna go ahead and press pause. I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to take in what I shared with you guys. Um, and then I'll come back as soon as we have something to report. Up until then, I'll just go ahead and press pause. Okay, guys, just back, and we've been in this position for a while now, and we had a very nice drop to the downside not too long after we entered the position, only to have price come all the way back up, test the pivot, and then kind of hover around our entry level. Eventually, it came all the way to actually go beyond the pivot, and eventually it made its way back down. And so currently, we literally uh, just about $4 into the green right now. So not much. Just you can basically say we're at the point of break even, and that's obviously something that we're gonna have to hold on to the overall position, and just kind of stick to our plan. So our stop is all the way up over here, so we're not necessarily looking to do any major adjustments as it stands. But the mere fact that the price did in fact come all the way up to test above the pivot and came back down suggests that there is still the strong possibility of price actually looking to roll over. So it's just a case of waiting and seeing how this particular trade is going to play out. For all we know, this could be an instance where the price may in fact want to see this as a higher low. As a result, push value further to the upside, eventually taking us out. But if we go all the way out to an hourly time frame, what we can start seeing is we did in fact come to test below the this moving average over here, only for a very strong hammer to form. And as a result of that, with that hammer forming, price essentially had the capacity to run further up. But we do see the 50 period moving average starting to kind of point to the downside, which implies that we could start to see price begin to move further down. So this is where we are at the moment with regards to this trade. If I was to take you guys out to the euro, you guys can see that the euro is still kind of making its way down. And this was, like I said, the trade of yesterday. We're still looking to make our way down, and we haven't yet come to test the pivot. So we're still trying to see that trade through as well. So at the moment, we're kind of just holding all the positions that we've taken this week so far, and in anticipation of market either hitting our targets or our profit, sorry, our stop losses. So I think I will have a lot more confidence in this particular position once we have a break of this moving average over here, because then we basically have enough momentum to suggest that we have the capacity to break this upward sloping trend line. And upon breaking that upward sloping trend line, I don't see the market necessarily struggling too much to get all the way to the pivot level. But with that being said, there is still a chance of the market using these key levels of support to kind of just reverse all the way back up to take us out on our stop loss. But I think it's just a case of continuing to manage and work through the position as it develops, purely because of the fact that we have a plan. we executed our plan. Now it's just a case of waiting and seeing how our plan plays out. So that is the euro yen as it stands. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how things play out as and when the market moves. So for now, I'll just go ahead and press pause, and I'll come back as soon as we have something more to report. Okay, guys, just back, and as you guys can see, we just got nipped out on our stop loss. Literally, price just came to touch our stop loss, and now it's currently just hovering around that region. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot of the position itself. I think that will be it for today. I don't think I'll be working on any other positions for the day, but let me just go ahead and get that screenshot for you guys. Here we go. Okay, so as you guys can see, this was the position we took this morning. We got hit on our stop loss and then a total loss of $71.16. So not a big loss today, but definitely something that we're going to look to make back in our next trade. So for the most part, guys, I hope that this has been a relatively good video. Essentially, I just think it's a case of waiting and seeing how this market will develop. The market has been quite choppy as of late. I don't necessarily know what's going on with the markets as a whole, but for the most part, I do see that there is still more potential in the week ahead. So, for the most part, guys, I hope that you have an awesome day further. I look forward to chatting to you all soon. Up until then, cheers and bye for now.